And once again, I want to say greetings to each and every one of you, Aquaba, and welcome. Welcome to another round of the Conscious Master Report here on LIV Radio, LIV TV, and livinginblack.com. My name is Keedy Awadu, aka the Conscious Master. Weekday mornings, you and I get together. We come at you live from 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's 12 noon Eastern time, 5 p.m. GMT, and 8 p.m. East Africa time. We get together with you. And we deal with culture, consciousness, historical perspectives. We deal with entertainment, economics, education, health, labor, law, politics, religion, family conflict, future studies, all areas of human interactivity and human development. Today's date is Monday, the 29th day of December. This is the year 2025 in the Gregorian Western calendar. This corresponds to the year 6266 in the Cometian calendar, to which we have realigned our cultural clock. Welcome to the 7th millennium. You have found your family in a peaceful place here on LIV Radio, LIV TV, here on livinginblack.com. And what a joy, what a joy, what a joy it is to be with you today on your favorite. We hope to be your favorite. We are LIV Radio, LIV TV. We are livinginblack.com. Let me tell you what we have in stock for today. First of all, I must say this is the 9th day of the Karas Ma'at Kwanzaa celebration. And today we are commemorating Ujamaa in the Kwanzaa celebration. Real quickly, today is the 9th day of Karas Ma'at Kwanzaa seasonal holiday. December 29th is Ujamaa, representing family, honor, and empowering foundational relationships, cooperative economics. So happy Kwanzaa to each and every one of you. Please do take these values seriously. Take them close to heart all year long. It becomes very, very important for us to pay close attention to what is happening. And let me post that up for our listening or for our Rumble family and the YouTube family, because that's a very valuable honoring cooperative economics. Copy, paste this, and then let's get into the topic for today. Bear with me, my desktop keeps having things pop up all over the place. And there we go. Here's what we have on table for today's study on your LIV Radio. Of course, Monday and Tuesday, we are livocating, not dedicating, we are livocating to the idea of health and fitness. I am working on the book, and the book is getting close. Well, it's not getting close to being done. It's probably at least another 30 days before the book will be written. And then I have another 30 days to send it to the printer. It does, of course, coincide with our latest book writers class, which those of you who were with us on Saturday got a chance to attend. That first class was free. So if you have ambitions to be a writer and you attended that class, then your book is going to the printer on March 25. And I plan on sending my new book to the printer on that same day, March 25, if not earlier. I may just decide to do it a little bit earlier. But let's go into the topic for today. Today's topic, natural ways of stimulating the body's feel-good hormones. Welcome to the Conscious Master Report. Today we are exploring natural ways to stimulate your body's feel-good hormones, dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, and oxytocin. We'll share evidence-based strategies using nutrition, lifestyle changes, and exercise to boost your mind and your well-being. Plus, we're exposing the social media scams that are promising quick fixes. Today, we separate science from snake oil and discover what actually works. So that is our topic for today. Let's get this party started. I saw a short video recently on YouTube that I'm going to share with you all and ask if you think that this is credible. So I have this video up. I'm going to share to the stage, and just real quickly I'm going to mute my microphone and share with you the video track right now. So let me just quickly mute my mic.
This woman's ADHD trick saved my life.
Self-sabotage isn't lack of motivation. It's an ADHD trauma response.
Task paralysis, chronic exhaustion, social isolation, messy house, pleasure chasing. You see, ADHD isn't just being lazy or unfocused. Once you learn your coping type and start managing it using behavioral psychology, the well-being can improve almost instantly, and you almost forget how to waste time ever again. It works by first discovering your ADHD type and then letting the changes unfold naturally. It's amazing how easy it is. So if you can relate, do me a favor and take a quiz.
If you and I can relate, then we're going to take Avoro's quiz. Or not. Let me just real quickly debunk this mess on the screen. Avoro.io. Their ADHD protocol is a digital self-improvement program featuring a 5-minute online test to assess struggles like focus and impulsivity, followed by a personalized daily plan of short videos, 5 to 15 minutes, articles, and tasks drawn from behavioral science, purportedly. It emphasizes building habits for ADHD management without medication, using techniques like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, principles, neuroscience, or on execution function, and dopamine regulation. Now, the key word here is they just introduced the idea of dopamine. I'm going to talk a lot about dopamine today, alongside upcoming apps for focus and habit tracking. So essentially, they're drawing you in for a course. They're going to be selling the course. They're going to have the short videos. The short videos are easy to find, but there are components like the apps that you are going to be asked to spend money on. Trust me, people. This is bull. It's really, really juvenile. Protocol details. Users start with topic-specific tests, yielding insights and routine of quick lessons, tackling root issues such as attention, multitasking, and procrastination. Content is delivered daily via the Avoro platform, with claims of 90% user satisfaction and science-backed methods from sources like the National Institute of Mental Health data on ADHD prevalence. The program markets itself for ADHD, burnout, or overwhelm, promising small wins without shame, but delivers generic materials despite, quote, personalization, unquote, promises. The safety assessment of this particular Avoro program: no serious safety risks appear, as it is non-pharmaceutical self-help program with no reported adverse events beyond potential frustration from unmet expectations. It's low commitment. You can cancel anytime after a 14-day trial. So the idea that this is free, easy, and non-commitment, you can cancel after 14-day trial. Yet it lacks medical oversight or clinical involvement, making it unsuitable as standalone treatment. Unlike FDA authorized ADHD digital therapeutics like Endeavor RX, Avoro carries no regulatory validation. On the claim of science backing, Avoro cites general evidence from CBT for ADHD, habit research, and executive function studies, but provides no proprietary clinical trials, peer-reviewed publications, or endorsements from ADHD organizations like the ADHD Evidence Project. User reports describe it as basic, non-personalized info repackaged from public sources with no measurable improvements after weeks of use. Scam verdict? Avoro shows scam-like traits through heavy upsells, example given ebooks, exaggerated personalized claims, and poor value, as noted in forums and reviews. Yet the site is technically legitimate without fraud flags. It's not outright fraudulent, but overhyped and ineffective compared to evidence-based options like CBT apps or clinical guidance tools. Health experts recommend avoiding unvalidated programs. So that's that. This conversation today was inspired by this Avoro video, which appears as a commercial that you are going to see somewhat regularly on your social media page. So let's get down to what's real. Today, I'm going to show you evidence-backed, and we're going to give you references as well, evidence-backed information of how can our body naturally and holistically increase production of positive hormones such as dopamine. At the key of ADHD, the word dopamine looms very large. It's not the only feel-good hormone we're going to focus on today, but dopamine and ADHD appear to be pretty much locked in together. I reviewed 10 sources for part of this information. I've reviewed more than that. We could go to medicalnewstoday.com for an article, Natural Methods to Increase Dopamine Levels, Medical News Today. We could go to healthline.com, 10 best ways to increase dopamine levels naturally. We could go to YouTube and find a lot of videos, 10 natural dopamine hacks for a happier, healthier you, 9 natural ways to balance dopamine in the brain, how to boost dopamine naturally with 30 feel-good habits. And we could also go to Sanford University behavioralhealth.com for an article entitled Dopamine Rush, 27 Things to Do Instead of Scroll. So let's talk about how to increase your dopamine levels naturally. Your main feel-good chemicals are dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, and oxytocin. The main feel-good chemicals are dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, and oxytocin, and each responds strongly to specific lifestyle inputs such as movement, light, touch, nutrition, and mindset practices. Using a mix of these daily rather than relying on just one gives the most robust, sustainable mood benefit. Again, feel-good chemicals. Number 1, dopamine. Dopamine stands for motivation, drive, reward, habit reinforcement. 2, serotonin. Serotonin is associated with calming, contentment, emotional stability, sleep, and appetite regulation. The third category, endorphins. Endorphins are natural painkillers that blunt pain and create euphoria. Example given, runner's high. And the fourth is oxytocin. It deals with bonding, trust, social connection, and feelings of safety. And it's also oxytocin is produced by the intimacy associated with sex. So let's break these down in more detail. First, let's deal with dopamine, motivation, and reward. And let me just first of all take a moment and welcome you into the listening audience for today. Let me see, do I have anyone on the Rumble? Nobody on the Rumble but me, but I'm going to say I'm loving it, loving it, loving it. Is anybody on my YouTube family for today? I'm double checking on you. Give me a second. I'm going to find out if you are in the house. And if you're in the house, do give us a note, drop a note, share a word or two or three, and let us know you do care about your LIB radio family. So I am checking on YouTube, and I do see a couple of people have tuned in, but they're not checking in. So we're just going to keep going forward with the research I've gathered for today. It's very good research. Dopamine is associated with motivation and reward. Point one, regular physical activity, especially resistance training, HIIT, which stands for high impact interval training, and moderate cardio, increased dopamine and is linked to improved mood in depression. Point two, dopamine. Setting and completing small, achievable goals, such as to-do list items, works, sprints, chores, triggers dopamine release from the accomplishment. Point three, learning new skills, creating hobbies, music, art, or creative hobbies, music, art, writing, and novelty in general stimulate reward circuits and dopamine. Point four, tyrosine-rich foods. They say like lean protein. They say chicken, turkey, eggs, dark chocolate. I do eat dark chocolate. The turkey, chicken, and eggs, I don't mess with them. You know that. Avocados, great tyrosine-rich food. Green tea, a great tyrosine-rich food. All of these tyrosine-rich foods support dopamine synthesis. Next point, 5. Music that is emotionally engaging activates dopamine-rich reward centers. Now, music that is emotionally engaging. I don't think they're talking about mumble rap. I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. The corruption of the music industry as promoted by corporate controlled mass media is degenerating very rapidly and continues to degenerate ever more rapidly. So that's all I'm going to say about that. It's junk now. That's why we love the oldies songs, because the oldies songs musically had melodies and had lyrics that complemented your intelligence, your emotional intelligence especially. And last point about dopamine, acts of kindness, volunteering, and giving can increase dopamine via your reward and meaning pathways. What is the link between dopamine and ADHD, you ask? How strong is this connection? I ask. Dopamine dysregulation is clearly involved in attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, but it is one part of a broader picture that also includes other neurotransmitters and large-scale brain network differences. We've often talked about the impact of disrupting chemicals. I had the word in my head and then went to say the sentence and the word disappeared. The impact of It's a set of neurotransmitters. I'll think of it in a second. The connection is supported by genetics, brain imaging, and medication response. Yet evidence suggests ADHD cannot be reduced to a simple, quote, dopamine deficiency model. And we're talking about excitotoxins. That's the word. Let me put this in here so I'll know to remember. Excitotoxins. Please, if you don't know what excitotoxins are, do look them up. In fact, what I'm going to do real quickly in the background, just look up, copy excitotoxins. I'm going to real quickly, what are excitotoxins and what is the relationship to ADHD? Real quickly, I didn't even type it in correctly, but the search engine is going to get it. I'm looking at duck.ai. What are excitotoxins and what is the relationship to ADHD? Excitotoxins are substances that can cause overactivation of neurons, leading to cell damage or death. They typically include certain amino acids such as glutamate and aspartate, which act as neurotransmitters in the brain. While these amino acids play crucial roles in normal brain function, excessive amounts can result in toxicity. Common sources of excitotoxins include processed foods, artificial flavorings, and additives like monosodium glutamate. The mechanism of action, neurotransmitter release. Excitotoxins can lead to excess release of neurotransmitters, particularly glutamate, which overstimulates neurons, and cellular damage. Prolonged stimulation can result in increased calcium influx into cells, calcification of cells, triggering pathways that lead to cell death. And the relationship to attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. The potential link between excitotoxins and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is an area of ongoing research. Some studies suggest that the overactivity of neurotransmitters in certain individuals might contribute to symptoms associated with ADHD. There's more, and I'm just going to skip over that for right now. But in the background, I am going to add this to my research. And so right now, I'm just going to put this into here, into my document, paste, and let's go forward. What is the link between dopamine and ADHD? Point one, ADHD involves differences in brain circuits where dopamine is central, especially networks for reward, motivation, and attention. Your midbrain, the striatum nucleus accumbens, and dorsal attention networks. Point two, PET imaging shows reduced dopamine synaptic markers, D2 and D3 receptors and transporters in reward motivation pathways in adults with ADHD, and these reductions correlate with inattention severity. Again, I'm going to reread that. PET imaging shows reduced dopamine synaptic markers D2 and D3 receptors and transporters in reward motivation pathways in adults with ADHD, and these reductions correlate with inattention severity. And point three, many first-line ADHD medications, such as methylphenidate, amphetamines, work by increasing dopamine availability, usually by blocking the dopamine transporter or increasing release. And this reliably improves core symptoms in a large proportion of patients. Now, here on LIB Radio, you did not come to me for medication suggestions. You come to me for natural, holistic, nutrition-based solutions, nutrition and lifestyle, are, in my mind, the best medicine for dang near everything. Genetic evidence, multiple studies and meta-analysis show a statistically significant association, not causation, between ADHD and several dopamine system genes, especially the dopamine receptor genes DRD4 and DRD5. Point two, variants in the dopamine transporter gene DAT1, SLC6A3, and DRD4 have been repeatedly implicated, although effective sizes are modest and far from deterministic, meaning stay away from anybody who tells you your health problem is in your genes. Stay away from them. Run away. Scream, turn around, and run away. And point three, polygenic risk, meaning more than one gene involved. Studies indicate that genetic risk for ADHD interacts with dopaminergic circuitry, meaning your dopamine is still involved. People with higher ADHD polygenic risk show altered connectivity in basal ganglia and attention networks, particularly when challenged with L-DOPA, a dopamine precursor. And lastly, not lastly, we're still on dopamine and ADHD because essentially we're coming into today's program putting ADHD central and focus with a very close focus on dopamine and its association with ADHD, but also I then broadened the topic. According to my philosophy, I want to know about all of the 4 feel-good hormones. So PET and SPECT, S-P-E-C-T imaging in some cohorts report altered dopamine transporter, DAT, binding in striatal regions. Example given, increased DAT binding in the right caudate in adults with ADHD, consistent with dysregulated dopamine reuptake. Now, part of that I understood, part of that needs further research. We'll pick that up at another time. Other high quality work finds lower transporter levels in specific regions and shows that transporter density alone does not straightforwardly map onto symptom severity, underscoring heterogeneity. Heterogeneity meaning it's caused by a number of different factors. Overall, convergent imaging data support disturbed dopamine neurotransmission in ADHD, especially in circuits mediating reward sensitivity and sustained attention. But findings are not uniform across all studies. Now, hope you understand, I'm leading you into understanding this at a much, much greater level than what was shown in that video from Avoro. And I have the website for Avoro up, and I just tell people, please, social media, just don't believe so much. You've got to have your means, your mechanisms, your filters, your screens up nowadays for understanding what social media is attempting to lead you into. And if you don't have those in place, you might want to just leave it alone. And for our young people, please do consider me, this source, LIB Radio, to be essentially your guru. Now, let's go. How strong is this connection? The connection is moderate and causal relevant, not absolute. Dopamine systems are clearly involved, but they explain only part of ADHD's variants. Point two, meta-analytic genetic data show significant but small effect sizes for dopamine genes, indicating that dopamine is one contributor among many. Other genes, environment, and other neurotransmitters such as norepinephrine and serotonin also play roles. Now, we're not going to go into norepinephrine today, because I don't think that is a quote unquote feel good hormone. But if it is, we'll have to add it. Is norepinephrine a quote feel good hormone? He asks. No. Norepinephrine is also known as noradrenaline, plays a complex role in the brain that affects mood, attention, and arousal. So it's not no. I guess the answer is yes. It affects mood, attention, and arousal. While it's often discussed along other neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, it does not easily fit into the category of, quote, feel-good hormones. So my instinct was correct. And it goes on, and we'll talk about norepinephrine maybe a little bit later. Let's keep going. Importantly, some studies do not find large baseline dopamine differences between adults with and without attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Yet, dopamine enhancing medications still improve attention in both groups, suggesting that dysregulation may be functional how circuits respond rather than simply, quote, low dopamine levels. Very important. Low dopamine levels. It's much deeper than that. Beyond dopamine, why dopamine deficiency is too simple. HD is also associated with alterations in norepinephrine systems and large-scale networks, such as the default mode network and dorsal frontal parietal attention networks, which cannot be explained by dopamine alone. Point 2, clinical heterogeneity, different system profiles, comorbidities, and treatment responses indicates that subgroups may have more or less dopaminergic involvement, meaning creating dopamine, along with other mechanisms predominating in others. In practice, dopamine can be viewed as a key node in the attention deficit hyperactivity disorder system, especially for reward, motivation, and sustained effort, but not the sole cause or a complete explanation for ADHD. That takes us to our second of our feel-good hormones for today, serotonin. First, let's talk about serotonin boosters, calm and contentment. Number 1, aerobic exercise, meaning it's good for your circulatory system. Running, swimming, cycling, brisk walking increases serotonin and improves mood, sleep, and appetite regulation. Point 2, sunlight exposure, especially morning light, raises serotonin and supports vitamin D, which further supports serotonin production. Point 3, tryptophan-rich foods, such as eggs, salmon, turkey, chicken, cheese, milk. I don't eat any of them. Milk, nut milk, nuts, seeds, peanuts, pumpkin and sesame seeds, bananas. I eat all of them. Support serotonin synthesis. Point 4, complex carbohydrates, whole grains, help tryptophan cross the blood-brain barrier, improving serotonin availability. Point 5, mindfulness and meditation elevates serotonin partly via stress reduction and cortisol lowering. And lastly, positive imagery, gratitude journaling, and thinking happy thoughts about past or future successes can raise serotonin levels. Next, we're talking about endorphins, endorphin boosters, natural pain relief, along with euphoria. Endorphin boosters include point one, moderate to vigorous exercise, running, swimming, dancing, fast walking, and sports, increase beta endorphins, and can produce the quote, runner's high, unquote. Laughter, social play, comedy, funny memories, releases endorphins and also nudges serotonin and dopamine upward. Point three, sexual activity triggers release of endorphins alongside dopamine and oxytocin, contributing to relaxation and satisfaction. Point four, massage, acupuncture, and other relaxing body work can stimulate endorphin release and reduce pain perception. And point five, time in nature and gentle outdoor movement, such as walking, hiking, gardening, yoga outside, are associated with higher endorphins and reduced stress. 11. I hope you are enjoying today's conversation. If anybody's out there and you want to say greetings to your brother, we welcome your words are always going to be welcome on your LIB radio network. I do see my brother Eddie is in the house. Greetings, Brother Keedy and the LIB radio family. And Sandra Muhammad is in the house. She says, I'm here. And it's a pleasure to see both of you. Sawubona, I see you in the house. We continue with today's conversation, and we are talking on the subject of natural ways of stimulating the body's feel-good hormones. Next, we're dealing with oxytocin. Oxytocin boosters include our bonding and safety, oxytocin. These boosters include point one, physical touch, hugs, cuddling, hand holding, high five, pats on the back, increases oxytocin and reduces stress hormones. So find a way to touch somebody today. Point two, sexual intimacy. Releases oxytocin along with endorphins and dopamine, enhancing bonding and relaxation. Point three, sexual intimacy triggers a coordinated release of dopamine, oxytocin, and endorphins that shapes pleasure, bonding, and the post-sex, quote, afterglow, unquote. These chemicals act on overlapping brain circuits for reward, attachment, and stress reduction, making sex both physiologically gratifying and emotionally connecting. During arousal and orgasm, dopamine surges in reward regions such as the nucleus accumbens, driving intense pleasure and reinforcing sexual behavior as rewarding. Almost immediately, oxytocin levels rise sharply, especially around orgasm, enhancing feelings of closeness, trust, and emotional safety with a partner, which is why it's often called the, quote, bonding or, quote, love hormone. Endorphins are released in the resolution phase, acting as natural painkillers and generating deep relaxation, satisfaction, and a sense of well-being that characterizes this afterglow. Point, this neurochemical triad helps explain why mutually caring sexual intimacy can strengthen pair bonding and relationship satisfaction over time. Oxytocin and vasopressin support attachment and partner preference, while dopamine encodes sex as highly rewarding and endorphins reduce stress and tension. Together, they create a feedback loop in which emotional closeness enhances sexual pleasure, and sexual pleasure in turn deepens emotional connection. Next point, giving or receiving massage meaningfully raises your oxytocin in both people involved. So giving a massage, raise your oxytocin. Receiving a massage, raise your oxytocin. It's a win-win-win situation. Next point, warm, emotionally meaningful social connection, such as time with loved ones, deep conversation, group activities, raises oxytocin and dopamine. And last point, acts of trust, affection, and cooperative behavior in relationships supports oxytocin signaling. So here are stress down regulators that protect all four of these feel-good hormones. Point, these do not directly create a high, but lower cortisol and autonomic arousal, so your existing feel-good chemistry works better. These are very important. So this is a complementary section to boost all four of these hormones. Point one, regular exercise, even 10 to 20 minutes of brisk walking, reduces cortisol and improves emotional regulation. And here, 1 second, let me just turn this off here, 1 second. Okay. Point two, time outdoors in green spaces lowers cortisol, muscle tension, and heart rate while improving your mood. Point three, adequate regular sleep helps keep dopamine and serotonin levels balanced and supports mood and motivation. And point four, relaxation techniques such as yoga, progressive muscle relaxation, breath work, tech breaks, reduce stress, and protect dopamine serotonin stores. So just in the middle of all this, I'm reminded that I should be always taking every 20 minutes. It says look 20 feet away and focus your eyes for 20 seconds. That's to protect our eyesight. And so I'm reminded to do that right now as I talk to each and every one of you. And as I talk to you, I'm also feeling absolutely wonderful and very grateful to have you in this family, to know that we are connected spiritually. Even though you and I may have never met, we're doing the best we can to build together, grow together, create mechanisms and means of getting stronger together. I had a wonderful conversation yesterday with Wendy Ida. If you don't know who Wendy Ida is, Wendy, W-E-N-D-Y, Ida, I-D-A, she has a website, wendyida.com. And she and I have been friends for over 30 years. And Wendy Ida is undeniably one of the most beautiful, stunningly beautiful, fit, fine people you will ever meet. She's got a beautiful face, eyes. Her personality is sparkling, bubbling through the roof. You talk to Wendy Ida for 3 or 4 minutes and you're ready to buy anything she has to sell. Wendy Ida is in the fitness, wellness, and beauty industries. So get a chance, look her up. And when you look at Wendy Ida, I want you to guess her age. Guess her age. You will be surprised. I don't think anyone could ever not be surprised at Wendy Ida. And I'll give you a hint. No, I'm not going to give you a hint. You guess her age. So, if helpful, a next step could be building a, quote, stacked daily protocol. Stacked daily protocol. This is the way I live. Example giving, morning light walk and brief strength, and evening social connection ritual that targets all 4 systems efficiently. the body naturally boosts production of positive hormones like dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and endorphins through lifestyle factors that support neurotransmitter synthesis and release. So again, let's just real quickly kind of go over these. Dopamine boosters, key for motivation and reward. Increases via tyrosine-rich protein foods like eggs, turkey, beans, and fish, which I don't eat, which provide basic building blocks for its production. These building blocks can be in a whole bunch of other different places. Regular aerobic exercise, such as walking or high-impact interval training, enhances receptor sensitivity, while 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep and sunlight exposure plus 15 minutes plus of minutes daily of exposure to sunlight regulate your dopamine levels. As well, listening to enjoyable music or achieving small goals triggers dopamine release, aligning with your fitness routines like your daily push-ups, my daily push-ups, and HIIT. And for my daily push-ups, after 8 days of my winter detox fast, it began on Sunday, so this would be day 8. No, this would be day 9. My push-ups yesterday were at 625. I'm pretty sure it was. Let me double check. It might have been 725. Yeah, it was 725 push-ups. That's in 3 sets. First set 225, second set 250, third set 250. So that's not bad. So my dopamine levels are up there with the best of them. And the best of them includes yours, I'm sure they does. Serotonin enhancers. Serotonin, promoting calm and mood stability, rises from gut-friendly foods like probiotics in non-dairy yogurts or fermented veggies, complex carbohydrates such as oats, sweet potatoes, and tryptophan-rich sources such as bananas or nuts. Morning sunlight and meditation further support pathway to enhanced serotonin, complementing your circadian and detox habits. It talks about endorphin triggers. Endorphins, natural painkillers for euphoria, surge during high-intensity activities like your 10-minute HIIT or laughter from comedy podcasts. Spicy foods, dark chocolate, and physical touch, hugs, and massage also stimulate release without supplements. And then lastly, we are looking at oxytocin, OXYTOCIN, boosting. And oxytocin boosters, often referred to as the love hormone, plays a significant role in social bonding, trust, and emotional connections. 3 effective ways to naturally increase oxytocin levels include, number 1, physical touch. The benefits of hugging. Here, 1 second. The benefits of hugging, cuddling, or holding hands can all stimulate the release of oxytocin. Physical touch activates the body's parasympathetic nervous system, promoting a sense of calm and connection. Positive social interactions. Benefits: engaging in social activities, whether through conversations, laughter, or shared experiences, can boost oxytocin levels. This includes spending quality time with loved ones or even bonding with pets. And point 3, bear with me, I have to format this a little bit. Acts of kindness. Benefits. Performing acts of kindness or altruism, such as volunteering, or helping someone in need can enhance feelings of connectedness and trust, leading to increased oxytocin release. Foods rich in specific amino acids, vitamins, and healthy fats serve as building blocks for dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins, supporting their natural production in the body. Dopamine boosting foods include tyrosine rich proteins, provide precursors for dopamine synthesis. Key options include, unless you are vegan, eggs, chicken, turkey. But if you are a vegan like I am, almonds, bananas, avocados, and beans, which align well with vegan or anti-histamine diets like my chia pudding experiments. Next point, serotonin boosting foods. Tryptophan from sources like salmon or plant alternatives such as pumpkin seeds, tofu, oats, and pineapple crosses the blood-brain barrier more effectively with complex carbohydrates. Include spinach, nuts, and fermented foods like yogurt, non-dairy yogurt, for gut serotonin support, fitting your intermittent fasting and probiotic interests. And what I'm looking for right now is oxytocin, which I did add later after our conversation yesterday with my friend. And oxytocin boosting foods. Well, first do endorphin boosting foods. Dark chocolate, 70% plus cocoa or cocoa. Spicy peppers and strawberries trigger endorphin release alongside laughter, ha 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 ha, or exercise. These pair easily with your HIIT routines and fresh food focus for quick mood lifts. And lastly, oxytocin boosting foods. Certain foods can influence the production and release of oxytocin, contributing to feelings of bonding or emotional well-being. And those foods include, not that here, those foods include dark chocolate. The benefits of dark chocolate include rich in flavonoids. Dark chocolate can stimulate the brain's pleasure centers and promote feelings of happiness, potentially leading to increased oxytocin release. Includes avocado, high in healthy fats and nutrients. Avocados can support brain health and improve mood, which might enhance oxytocin production in the body. And number 3, we have bananas. Contain tryptophan, which is a precursor to serotonin, promoting mood enhancement and emotional balance, possibly influencing oxytocin levels as well. So we've gone through a lot of good research. We have a little bit more we're going to share. And we're talking about practical tips. What did I just do? There we go. Practical tips. Combine these in meals, such as quinoa with avocados and nuts for multi-hormone benefits, emphasizing whole foods over supplements for sustained effects in holistic protocols. And this is always, anytime we can use food as opposed to supplementing, we got to go to the food first. Provides long-term benefits. Now, I do use supplements, and I use them very judiciously, but I'm very specific about using them. And where I used to just take all of the anti-aging supplements that I had at hand, I would go through, and every 2 days I would take every one of them. Nowadays, I'm much more specific and I'm listening to my body. I have found that the deeper I go into my protocols for living long and healthy, etc., the more that my body tells me what it wants. I'm very sensitive to my body's needs nowadays. And I was talking about this yesterday with my wonderful friend Wendy, is that we can grow up learning to be tough, and the adversity gives us motivation and toughness, or we can grow up learning to be very sensitive. And the more sensitive we are, the more we can respond directly to what our body is telling us. I encourage people to be tough and stick to whatever you do, and you will grow up beautiful and wise. But as you're getting wiser, be more sensitive. It's a greater level of reward, because with the sensitivity, you get a chance to prevent those things that make you adverse and make you tough. So practical tips: probiotics in foods like non-dairy yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi positively influence serotonin levels, primarily through the gut-brain axis, where about 90 to 95% of the body's serotonin is produced in the intestines. Now, I had thought that that percentage was about 86%, but hey, I have no problem with it saying 90% at all. Mechanisms of action. Probiotic strains such as Bifidobacterium and Lactobacillus reduce enzymes that divert tryptophan, serotonin's precursor, towards kynurenine production, instead channeling more towards serotonin synthesis. This leads to higher fecal and plasma serotonin, decreased inflammation, and improved kynurenine to tryptophan ratios, as shown in clinical trials with depressed patients. So we do want improved kynurenine to tryptophan ratios. Studies, evidence from studies. Trials demonstrate probiotics increase tryptophan availability, elevating serotonin, and reducing depression and anxiety scores. Example given: the BDI scores dropped significantly after supplementation. Fecal serotonin levels rose notably in probiotic groups versus placebo, supporting mood benefits via gut microbiota regulation. Next, foods, sources, and tips. Incorporated fermented vegan options like miso or tempeh to align with your antihistamine and detox protocols. Combined with prebiotics, example given: oats, bananas, for synergy during intermittent fasting windows. Now, I'm realizing at this particular point, I'm doing my research on perplexity.com, because Perplexity has remembered my profile. It remembers me and the things that I do. And one day I put in everything I do during the course of an entire day, everything I do. And now I'm recognizing this has remembered a lot of that. So if you can, do use Perplexity. It is the ChatGPT 4 engine that I predominantly love nowadays. I use about 5 of them a day. Natural and holistic foods, herbs, and supplements boost feel-good hormones like dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, and oxytocin. They do this by providing precursors. Example given: tyrosine and tryptophan precursors that support gut health and reduce inflammation. These foods include, and I'm going to include the ones that I don't eat. Eggs, tyrosine rich for dopamine, also aid oxytocin. Bananas, tryptophan for serotonin. Potassium supports endorphins. Almonds contain magnesium and healthy fats that enhance your serotonin and dopamine. 4, dark chocolate, 70% plus cocoa or cocoa. I like calling it cocoa. Flavonoids trigger endorphins and dopamine. Number 5, salmon. Omega-3s boost serotonin and dopamine. Vegan alternative would be chia seeds. Point 6, spinach. Include folate and tryptophan for serotonin production. Number 7, oats. Complex carbohydrates facilitate tryptophan uptake for serotonin. Number 8, avocados. Healthy fats and folate support dopamine and serotonin. Number 9, pumpkin seeds. Zinc, magnesium for serotonin and mood balance. Number 10, Greek yogurt. Includes probiotics, enhance gut, serotonin. Vegan alternatives include kefir. Number 11, turmeric, curcumin supplement. It's anti-inflammatory. It boosts your BDNF, which stands for brain-derived neurotropic factor, and boosts your serotonin. Number 12, green tea, L-theanine, promotes dopamine and serotonin calm. And I will drink my green tea to that. Number 13, berries. Example given, blueberries. Antioxidants protect dopamine neurons. Number 14, fermented foods, such as sauerkraut or kimchi. Probiotics via the gut-brain axis for serotonin. And 15, rhodiola rosea, herb supplement. Adaptogen elevates dopamine and serotonin. Dopamine, endorphins, oxytocin, and serotonin are core neurochemicals that link brain function to motivation, mood, pain, bonding, and daily habits. Each one maps onto specific aspects of health and lifestyle choices. Dopamine connects to motivation, reward, habit formation, drive, and goal pursuit. The lifestyle links are how rewarding our work, social media, sex, food, and substances feel. There's a tendency toward procrastination versus action and the pull of addictive behaviors. And dopamine also involved in the reinforcement of habits, both healthy, like exercise, and unhealthy, like binging. Serotonin is connected to mood, stability, anxiety, sleep-wake rhythm, appetite, and gut function, and pain modulation. Its lifestyle links, sleep quality and circadian rhythm. Serotonin is a precursor to melatonin. Number 2, it's satiety, food choices, and gut-brain health. And number 3, a healthy serotonin is baseline emotional tone, resilience versus irritability or rumination. Endorphins are connected to natural pain relief, euphoria, stress buffering, and exercise-induced mood elevation. The lifestyle links include runner's high, why sustained exercise can feel euphoric and reduce pain. Point 2, coping with acute stress or discomfort. Example given, intense workouts or deep tissue massage. And 3, endorphins are related, tend to use high intensity activity, laughter, or thrill seeking as emotional regulations. Tendency to use the others. Next one, oxytocin. It's connected to bonding, trust, social recognition, intimacy, and stress dampening. The lifestyle links include quality of close relationships, attachment, and sense of social safety. The effects of touch, sexual intimacy, affection, and caregiving interactions, as well as the capacity to recover from stress via connection, co-regulation, rather than isolation. This is very important. So, integrated health impact together. These systems shape, number one, our motivation to pursue goals, dopamine, emotional baseline, serotonin, ability to self-soothe and enjoy effort, endorphins, and safety in relationships, oxytocin. And two, lifestyle levers that influence all four include regular movement, adequate sleep, sunlight, nourishing diet, and meaningful social contact, and aligned, rewarding work. That concludes today's information that I've gathered to study about how we regulate our body's feel-good hormones. Now, I think we did a great job. I hope you agree, Brother Eddie McCroy. I hope you do agree, my sister Sarah Muhammad, that we do our best work together. I want to thank those of you who have bought a book this month, who've gone to my website, http://keidi.com. Go to http://keidi.biz, I said .com, keidi.biz/CRP 2012, and gotten a book. To support our fund drive. It's very important that we take this seriously. We are on a mission here, and we are about at the end of our December fund drive. I want to thank my brother Work It Out, who's in Southern California, the Inland Empire. Brother Work It Out yesterday donated $100 to our fund drive. He always does. Brother Work It Out is a people's champion. And Brother Armistice, Brother Tony, and every one of us who know Brother Work It Out, I think you will agree with me that he is a champion. He's a champion in my eyes. He's a champion among his peers. And just knowing you, Brother Work It Out, and building along with you this LIB Radio Network is an honor. It's been absolutely a pleasure. He made a generous donation of $100 to our fund drive. And I am so wonderfully grateful. We are near the end of the fund drive. If you are on Facebook or if you're on Rumble, I encourage you to go look under the message, the little message, your input for your message. You will see a dollar symbol, green $sign, and you will also see a little gift package. If you click on either one of those links, you can make a contribution to our fund drive. And it is very, very critical that we do so at this time. Let me just talk to you about your health is your wealth. Your health is your wealth. Health is wealth. Wealth is health. And we're committed to bringing you the knowledge you need to thrive. You got everything you need to thrive today. As we talked about these, building out these 4 feel-good hormones in our body. This December, we reflect on another year of exploring wellness breakthroughs, holistic healing practices, and preventive health strategies. We're asking for your support to help keep this vital conversation, this mission, to help keep it going. Every episode I produce requires hours of research. This one I did today, I started the research on it last Thursday. It was very comprehensive, and I think you will agree it was very important information. Requires hours of research, going through these interviews with experts and watching YouTube videos looking for just the right one, careful production to ensure you receive accurate, actionable health information. We've covered everything from nutrition science and mental health issues to fitness innovations and natural remedies, all without the influence of pharmaceutical companies sponsoring us or wellness industry gatekeepers. Your donation directly funds our ability to bring on holistic medical professionals, wellness experts, and researchers who share cutting-edge information that mainstream media often overlooks. We're not trying to sell you supplements or miracle cures. Now, I've been considering moving into supplement sales, but I'm not there yet. We're not going to sell you supplements or immediate miracle cures. We're not promising that crap. We're here to empower you with knowledge that helps you make informed decisions about your well-being this holiday season. While many of us are thinking about our health goals for the new year, consider investing in the podcast for the new year that's invested in your well-being. Whether it's $5, $25, or $50, your contribution ensures that we can continue delivering episodes that challenge conventional thinking, explore alternative practices, approaches, and celebrate the connection between mind, body, and spirit. Think about the value that just one insight that changed your health routine. How many people got that one powerful insight today that we can affect our dopamine levels, and that will have a direct impact on this thing called ADHD? And you know something? It used to be that ADHD was 10, 15 years ago, it was mainly spoken about only as impacting young people, elementary age children or teenagers. But now you know, I hope you've noticed, that the ADHD conversation has now moved to young adults. That means that when we first started talking about it, it was not solved. It merely became another pharmaceutical approach. I'm not a person to use vulgar language, but that really sucks. When we look at that in contact, we've been had, we've been fooled, we've been misled. And they were never serious. I remember going to a meeting on ADHD. This would have been, it was when I was still living in Southern California. I went to a meeting in Long Beach. This may have been 20 or 25 years ago. And I went there to talk to the people suffering from ADHD or wanted to know about it for their children. At that time, it was almost all about children. And during the Q&A period, I raised my hand and I asked a question about what about nutrition solutions. And every psychiatrist on the panel totally rejected what I had to say. They didn't even want me to continue speaking. But I said, I raised my hand. I was very patient. And I wanted to finish. They said, well, we'll talk to you after the conversation's over today. And I ended up walking out of the room in handcuffs. In handcuffs. They handcuffed me after I protested that they didn't allow me to speak, like everyone else. So you know what I did? I laid right down on the floor, on my back, laid right down on that floor in the middle of that meeting. There might have been 200 people in the audience because some of them were jeering, etc., because they wanted the quick fix pharmaceutical solution for their child. I heard it in their comments, and I raised my hand. I was patient. And they called on me, and it was an open to the public meeting. So I laid down on the floor in protest, and I said that if I can't talk, then the meeting's going to be ended. And they said, they called security. Security came, got me up off the floor, put handcuffs on me, and walked me out of the meeting to people's applause. Poor people, I was there to help them, especially those who look like me, which was disproportionately represented. But also, I will say, the middle class soccer moms were all there to medicate their children. And on the way to the security office, I said, you know, this meeting was publicly advertised. And I did raise my hand to ask a question. And there's at least one or more persons in there who I know are going to be my witness. And I'm going to sue this hospital for handcuffing me and marching me out of that meeting. So the guy took the handcuffs off and he said, please just go away. And I said, I think I accomplished my purpose because my act of defiance broke up that meeting, completely broke up the meeting, because it took him several minutes to security to arrive and escort me out. And by that time, the momentum of the meeting had been destroyed. And so that battle, while maybe insignificant, I doubt if I may have inspired or informed more than one or two people to change their lifestyle. Give up the excitotoxins. Stop feeding your children candy, artificial colors, artificial flavorings, and all this garbage from processed food. So that's a long story. I've never written that in a book. Maybe I'll put that in the upcoming book, Mo Better Nutrition Solutions. But on that note, I thank you for tuning in today. I hope you heard me. I hope that at least one person or more follows the advice that I shared today. I do not ask you to do anything that I don't already do. So will you make a donation? Go to http://libradio.com. It's // Scroll to the bottom of the page and look for the link for making the donation. I'm going to invite you to do it also on the Rumble page as we go to wrap it up. I thank you all for all you do for all of us. I am because we are. And we are libradio.com. And on that note, I'm going to wrap it up for today. It's been a good day. It's been a very good day. And I hope you enjoyed that story I just told. I hope you do go to libradio.com. I hope you do go to kitty.biz and buy a book. I was looking at my book sales, and doggone it, a year ago, I was making 6 times and more, maybe as much as 8 times the number of book sales from Amazon that I am unfortunately making nowadays, while continuing to write. Others are discontinuing their support. We can do better than that. I think I can do better than that. We're going to do the best we can to do the best that we can do. I am, you are, we're in this together. We're going to be working together to the best of our abilities. You've been tuned into your favorite. We aim to be your favorite. We are LIB Radio, LIB TV. We are living in black.com. I wish you all peace and prosperity. We'll talk soon. Peace now.